The 5 official candidates for the federal NDP leadership race will get a chance to sell themselves to a national audience tonight. Documentary filmmaker Avi Lewis, social worker Tenille Johnston, Alberta MP Heather McPherson, union leader Rob Ashton, and organic farmer Tony McQuail will take part in the party's first leadership forum in Ottawa. The Canadian Labour Congress is hosting the event. The NDP is coming off its worst ever election result last spring when it won only 7 seats and lost official party status. Joining me now to discuss is CTV's political commentator and the former NDP leader, Tom Mulcair. Tom, good morning to you.
Good to be with you, Marcia.
You're the perfect guest. Your thoughts on this and what we're going to see tonight, and the 5 candidates who are interested in leading the party during pretty challenging times.
I think it's a pretty clever choice of a first event. It's not one of those classic set twos where you're on a stage and you're fighting with each other about ideas. It's early rounds still. This is super friendly territory being organized with the Canadian Labour Congress, so it's not an event of the NDP, but it's an event that counts in the NDP race. It's being put on by the Labour Congress itself. That's a reminder, for example, one of the candidates is out of the Labour movement, of Labour's key role in founding the NDP, because a lot of Labour, a lot of workers have started to drift over, in particular, to Pierre Poilievre's Conservative Party. They saw that in the last election, so the NDP is worried about that. The wonderful chap who's there as an organic farmer says that he's there to remind people about the importance of keeping something for future generations. So a pure environmental sustainable development platform. And of course, the 2 founding pillars of the NDP were the labor movement and farmers. So this is an opportunity to remind people of all of that. Wab Kinew, strong First Nations premier of Manitoba. We also have a candidate from BC who hails from a First Nation out there. The 2 main candidates, though, all eyes are going to be trained on Heather McPherson, who is often described, and I believe correctly so, as the establishment candidate. She's got strong backing. Former Alberta premier was there at her launch, giving her backing. I know the people within the party who are with her. A lot of people also wanted to make sure that we had our first woman leader in many years. And so Heather McPherson's got a lot of people on her side. Avi Lewis is the upstart. He's tried a couple of times to get himself elected. He hasn't been successful at that. In fact, his numbers actually went down in his most recent attempt, if I'm not mistaken. So if you can't get yourself elected time after time, how are people supposed to have confidence in you that you can get them elected? But he throws tons of ideas out there. Some of them are interesting. A lot of them don't hold much in terms of reality, but he's that guy. He's going to keep pitching out there. Now, I'll mention one thing, and I know it does produce an eye roll when you talk about this, but it is essential in a country that has 2 official languages that you be able to speak to the 8 million people in Canada for whom French is the first language. And that's one of the things that Jack Layton and I succeeded at when we created what we call the Orange Wave. We had been able to break through in Quebec, got 59 seats in that famous election in 2011, but even against Trudeau, we were able to get 15 seats in Quebec. So that strong base had been created, and that's frittering away. The 2 candidates I've just mentioned don't speak French. You might hear them try to get out a sentence or 2 that had been practiced, and that you can do in this type of evening, because this is, again, it's not a lively event where you're going back and forth. If you've memorized a sentence or 2, you're going to try to sputter it out. You got to be careful with that. Famously, Peter MacKay, when he was running for the leadership of the Conservatives, didn't want to take questions, had 1 sentence memorized in French, and that was what he was going to deliver, and that was going to be his clip on the news. Unfortunately for him, it had 3 mistakes in it when he said that 1 sentence in French. And it made the front page of the largest circulation French daily in Quebec, and they put an English title for the first time in their history, and it was Good Luck, Mister. And the rest is history, because, of course, the very bilingual Aaron O'Toole won that one. So you can't discount the importance of being able to speak to all Canadians if you want to lead a national party.
Tom, I'm just about out of time, but I'm also wondering if tonight is an opportunity to convince people or show people why having a third party, why having the NDP is important for this country.
I think so. And without that guardrail, what we're seeing, too, is that the Liberals are drifting further and further right. I mean, you know, their talk about austerity at the same time that they say they're going to start dismantling parts of the civil service and parts of some, you know, some of the services that are offered. They're careful. They're saying, for example, they won't reduce health transfers to the provinces, but that doesn't mean that they're going to keep up with inflation. So if you've got 3% inflation and you don't keep up with that, you've just dropped your budget by 3%, your contribution. So it's the type of thing that will be there. A lot of the things that are being done right now to appease Trump are not pleasing to Canadians on the progressive side, on the left side of the political equation. Will any of them be able to speak to that? I think to those core issues, Heather McPherson's going to have the ability to do it. Avi Lewis is out there with, almost think he was Elon Musk, at least for his tool, because he's going at this with a hacksaw and a large chainsaw. He wants to take apart, nothing less than take apart the entire economic system that we have, capitalism, and he wants to replace it and give us jobs in the caring sector. I mean, it's an interesting, bold vision, but I don't think it's grounded in reality. So we'll see which of those two will work. I am told inside that the muckety-mucks in the party are extremely worried. It looks like Avi Lewis has got a head of steam on him. He's attracting a lot of young people, especially in the large urban centers. And as things stand now, looks like he might be in the lead.
All right, we'll have to see how it all plays out, and you'll guide us along. Thank you so much. Tom Mulcair is our CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader.